Hi, my name is Tim and welcome to another edition of Smelly Sweet. Today it's going to be all about leather fragrances. I got a top 10 video about 10 leather fragrances, and that is just strictly a personal list. In my opinion, my top 10 from my collection, because I do know that there are a lot of other leather fragrances out there that I haven't tried yet. So it's definitely going to be my personal top 10 list. But I also have 5 honorable mentions. And the reason I have 5 honorable mentions is because that they contain leather, but maybe the leather isn't the most prominent note. And the reason I choose to do it like this is because for not that long ago I saw a video about somebody doing a top 10 about tobacco fragrances, and the most amazing thing was that in his top 2 of those fragrances the tobacco wasn't a prominent note. And that is to me a little bit weird when you do a top 10 tobacco video. Or if I would do a top 10 leather video, I couldn't start off by showing you Initio Absolute Aphrodisiac as my number 1. Even if there is leather in it, the leather is just contributing to giving it, the vanilla, a slightly animalic feeling. So, honorable mention, Initio Absolute Aphrodisiac. For you who do know, have been around, you do know that I usually have a shelf here where I display fragrances, but today I'm putting my fragrances there so you can see them. Now, another honorable mention is Guerlain L'Homme Idéal EDT. Here, at the stage in the lifetime of the fragrance, you do pick up the leather not very prominent, but you can really pinpoint the leather at the stage in the lifetime of this one. But it isn't the most prominent note. Another honorable mention is Bentley for Men Intense. Here the leather gives off a smoky leather vibe to it, but never that leather is the most prominent or take over the fragrance. 2 more honorable mentions left. Baseline from Icon de Parfums, a small indie brand from Arizona. The only notes listed in this one is leather and caramel, or if it is butterscotch, I believe it is caramel. But there is some florals as well. But the leather note is, I would say that this is a nice entry level. If you are unsure about what you feel about leather, or if you just want to try something, this one would be great because it has such a sweet tone to it. Another honorable mention is Svensk Parfum Zara. Now, when I combine these two, that is magic. If these two would be in one bottle, it would have managed to qualify itself into my top 10. The reason Zara is an honorable mention is because it gives off a pungent opening, almost kind of like a plastic feeling I get from the opening. But when combined with this one, the caramel in this one just tones that down to the right level. So here the leather is prominent, but because of the opening it didn't manage to qualify itself into my top 10. I'm now going to show you a little clip of these bottles so you can look at them a little bit closer. The honorable mentions are Initio Absolute Aphrodisiac, Icon de Parfums Baseline, Guerlain L'Homme Idéal, the EDT version, and Bentley for Men Intense, and Svensk Parfum Zara. So, on spot number 10 we have Francesca Bianchi's Black Knight. The reason I really don't like the scent. I'm not a big fan of the scent, but as a perfume it is art. It truly is art, because if you read the story behind this fragrance about being inspired by the knights in the medieval time, and that they wake up ready for battle on the camp and the smoke from the campfire still hit you, you do get a clear picture of this one, what this one is. And what I see when I smell it, I love it when a fragrance manages to put a picture in my head of what I see. What I see with this one is William Wallace. Now, who is William Wallace? Well, if you're a Scottish man, you do know who William Wallace is. But if you're not and you haven't seen the movie Braveheart with Mel Gibson, go and watch it. Amazing movie. And I do see William Wallace riding on his horse by the campfires, and he just knew that he is gonna shed a lot of blood today. So, smoky leather, almost like a horse. It smells a little bit like the horse does. So amazing fragrance, amazing, no, that was a bit of a lie. not an amazing fragrance, an amazing piece of art. Francesca Bianchi's Black Knight. Notes listed in Francesca Bianchi's Black Knight are leather, orris, honey, vetiver, caraway, beeswax, patchouli, oak moss, artemisia, narcissus, cedar and Bulgarian rose. On spot number 9 we have Jo Malone's Bronze Wood and Leather. Here the thing you need to know, there are some more notes listed. I believe there's grapefruit, there is juniper berry or something like that. I will come back to you about that, but the only thing you need to know is smoky leather. I forgot to say that about the Francesca Bianchi. Longevity 12 hours, easily 12 hours with not a good projection for 2-3 hours, but if you spray that one Francesca Bianchi's Black Knight on clothes, it will last on your clothes for an entire week. Bronze Wood and Leather by Jo Malone, the smoky leather, really smoky leather I would say. Typical, this is a British fragrance. This is such an English fragrance, it can't be more English than this one. Smoky leather with a longevity about 7 hours with an okay sillage I would say. Jo Malone, Bronze Wood and Leather. Notes listed in Jo Malone's Bronze Wood and Leather are grapefruit, smoke, juniper, leather and vetiver. On spot number 8 we have Zara Bois de Vincennes. Now this one is a shoe store leather. When I smell this one I think of a shoe store with leather boots in it and stuff like that. There are only 3 notes listed, but I only pick up 2. I pick up the leather and I pick up the violet leaf. This one would have ended up higher on my list if the longevity was better, because it is only 3 hours of longevity, but I'm trying to do this based on the leather, what I think about the leather and the fragrances. This one ends up on spot number 8. Zara Bois de Vincennes. Notes listed in Bois de Vincennes by Zara are leather, violet leaves and mandarin orange. On spot number 7 we find La Yuqawam from Rassasi. This is an interpretation of Tuscan leather by Tom Ford. So you have those typical raspberries in the top drying down to a leather. I haven't got Tuscan leather in my collection, but I have been comparing them side by side, and I would say that Tuscan leather has a bigger sillage, has a better longevity, is a little bit more sharp in the raspberry and a little bit more sharp in the leather. But I do think that you get a great bang for your buck out of this one. Around 8 hours longevity with a moderate projection. With the raspberry isn't that sharp, it is a little bit more toned down, and the leather comes off a little bit softer and not as pungent as it does in Tuscan leather. So if they would cost evenly, if the price on Tuscan leather and this one would be the same, would I still pick up this one or would I pick up Tuscan leather? I would have to go with this one still. So, La Yuqawam, Rassasi. Notes listed in La Yuqawam Home by Rassasi are raspberry, saffron, thyme, olibanum, jasmine, artemisia, leather, sweet, woody notes and amber. Spot number 6 we have Bohemian from Swedoft. I mean, this is the most smelling niche fragrance in my collection. You have oud on the top. The oud is slightly animalic, but without being funky or skanky. Comes off a little bit like the leather, but the leather, I believe that the leather you find in the base of this one helps to give that feeling, so it gives you a smoky leather feeling in the opening. You also have dried fruits in the middle of this one, which I think helps to give it off as kind of a slight boozy vibe to it. And it takes you on an amazing journey, this fragrance. It's just like you have a old leather jacket on you, you do smoke cigarettes, and with that the smoke has put into that leather jacket, you go to a nice pub, local dark, no not nice pub, you go to a dark pub in London, in the back streets of London, you sit there and you order yourself an ale or something like that. That is the picture I get out of this one. And then you get home and you're left with the dry, smoky leather feeling. An amazing journey, lasts around 10 to 12 hours with a huge sillage. I can't wear this too often because of the sillage, because of how big it is. I need really to time when I'm gonna wear it. So often I've been wearing it to work, but now we're entering a little bit warmer months that I don't think I could pull this off in these hotter, warmer days that we're approaching. Swedoft Bohemian on spot number 6. Notes listed in Swedoft Bohemian are leather, smoke, dry fruits, agarwood, lavana, nutmeg, sandalwood, cedar, incense, vetiver, patchouli and white pepper. On spot number 5 we have another one that often has been compared to Tuscan leather, and that is Godolphin from Parfums de Marly. Now, I think that is a bit unfair, because here you have not just raspberry, you have a bunch of fruits in this one that are mixed together. Obviously you pick up the raspberry, but you also, I do pick up some kind of a melon as well, and it has got a little bit more of the vanilla, but still it ends up with being a smoky leather kind of a vibe. When I smell this one in the dry down, I do see an old Chesterfield sofa that has been staying around at the hotel lobby for decades. So that sofa has sucking up a lot of the air and smells and scents around it and dried it down in the sofa. So I do pick up that female perfumes, I do pick up on the smoke, I do pick up on maybe some spilled sweets and candy and stuff like that in this one that has been laying around forever. So that is the picture I get. On Chesterfield sofa, standing in the hotel lobby of one really luxurious hotel in New York. So Godolphin from Parfums de Marly on spot number 5. Notes listed in Godolphin by Parfums de Marly are fruity notes, saffron, thyme, mate, cypress, green notes, rose, orris, jasmine, leather, amber, cedar, vetiver, musk and vanilla. On spot number 4 we have Fragrance de Bois Milano. Now, I've been talking about this quite some times now lately, but just watch I leave an iCard, I believe it is here. I'm gonna leave the iCard to my review about this one, so just check that out. Truly amazing fragrance, I enjoy it very much, and I believe if my wife would have to pick a fragrance on me that she prefers of these leather fragrances, this one would end up at spot number 1. Fragrance de Bois Milano. Notes listed in Fragrance de Bois Milano are orange, saffron, bergamot, thyme, fruity notes, jasmine, olibanum, leather, amber, vanilla, musk and woody notes. On spot number 3 we do have Acqua di Parma's Colonia leather, the brown bottle, because people say there isn't any difference between this one and the brown bottle or the black bottle, but I feel that the citruses in this one is more prominent than it is in the black bottle. I feel that in the black bottle they have amped up the raspberry, or maybe even just added the raspberry to make it take a turn closer to Tom Ford's Tuscan leather. So this one I think is more a fragrance of its own than the black bottle is, but that's just my opinion. Great longevity, huge projection as well, and it is one of those fragrances that smells better in the air around you than it does up close on your skin. So Acqua di Parma Colonia leather, my spot number 3. Notes listed in Colonia leather by Acqua di Parma are Brazilian orange, lime, rose, petitgrain, leather, gaiac wood and cedar. Spot number 2 on my list is Widian London. This fragrance is my favorite suede fragrance. You have your raspberry, but you have such a lovely vanilla on this one. The vanilla is amazing. Totally unisex. All of these fragrances, except maybe Bohemian, I think are unisex. Bohemian is leaning a little bit more masculine than the other ones. This one is, the raspberry is good, just the right balance of raspberry and vanilla that makes it delicious, and the suede comes through instantly, and when it dries down the raspberry fades off, you're left with a vanilla suede feeling until late in the dry down, where it just is the suede feeling. There are a bunch of other notes listed, but that are the 3 most important things to know about this one. And I would say that you get a longevity of about around 8 to 10 hours with a good sillage. So on my spot number 2, Widian London. Notes listed in Widian's London are agarwood, violet, cypress, raspberry, lily, leather, vanilla, amber and musk. So, if you've been around to this channel, we're finally at spot number 1, and that can't be a surprise for you that Tom Ford Ombré Leather is my favorite leather fragrance. I mean, the leather in this one is so damn good. It's just like taking a nice leather jacket on you, and it gives me the most swag. Out of these fragrances that I've been showing you today, this one is the one that gives me the most swag, most confidence. Longevity 8 to 10 hours with a good projection. Doesn't fill up on hose, but you do definitely fill up a room for the first hour or two. Tom Ford's Ombré Leather, my spot number 1. Notes listed in Tom Ford's Ombré Leather are cardamom, leather, jasmine sambac, amber, musk and patchouli. Now we're coming to an end. I do feel that I had to push out this video now because it is going to be one of my last videos that I push out on YouTube for forever. I can't say, but definitely for a while. I'm coming back to you guys about that in the next video, where I'm gonna say I do a thank you video, and on Friday I'm going to do a video where I show who the winner is of the giveaway that I had going in one of my videos, and I will also talk a little bit about the company that is helping me with that giveaway in that video. And that will be the last video that I produce, that I make for YouTube for quite a while. So, but stay tuned until the video next time, the thank you video, where I'm gonna say thank you to a bunch of people, and I'm gonna give you an explanation on why I think I might retire from YouTube. So until the next time everybody, stay safe and be well, and I'll be back.